The coordination of the tax jurisdiction of various countries should be is in conflict with each other. The international community should coordinate their tax jurisdiction according to the principle of source of residence, which is an important theoretical issue in the field of international taxation, and also a controversial one from one perspective of the national tax revenue. Different coordination principles may have different impact on each country. Some net capital exporting countries with developed economy may lose some tax benefits if the principle of origin is adapted for the coordination, while the tax benefit of capital exporting countries and importing countries can be properly considered if the principle of the residence is adapted for the coordination. The economic efficiency of the tax is mainly reflected in the neutrality of the taxation. In terms of international capital flow, the tax neutrality should be reflected in the fact that the tax doesn't affect the cross-border flow of the capital. So the capital can be allocated to the countries with high efficiency of use. And of course, it is the effective economic efficiency of taxation from the global perspective. And the revenue neutrality should be reflected in the fact that taxes doesn't affect the flow of capital across borders, so that it can be allocated to countries where it is used more efficiently. Of course, this is the economic efficiency of taxation from a global perspective, which is sometimes inconsistent with the economic efficiency of particular countries. In addition, in an open economy, the savings and the investments are no longer necessarily equal for each country. So the international allocation of savings and investments may not be exactly the same. In this way, the neutral effect of the tax on the cross-border capital flow can be reflected in saving and investment respectively. And the effect of the principle of international coordination of tax jurisdictions on cross-border capital flow can also be reflected in the international allocation of savings and the international allocation of investments. So in the open economy, the savers, because a saver doesn't necessarily invest at home. The saver can choose to invest in a country with high rate of return. And generally speaking, the higher the pre-tax rate of the capital, pre-tax rate of return of the capital is, the higher the marginal productivity of the capital is. Therefore, if savers choose a country with a high pre-tax rate of return to invest, is conducive to the effective allocation of international investment. But it is an after-tax rate, not the pre-tax rate, that really determines the saver's motivation to invest. This requires a tax system that allows the investors to pay the same effective tax rate on their investment income, no matter where they invest their money in. In this way, The post-tax rate of return can truly reflect the pre-tax rate of return, and the tax will not affect the choice of investment location. And tax system doesn't affect the investment choice. Is a capital export tax neutral. It is helpful to the investment in various countries in the world. In the coordination principle of invest income tax jurisdiction, the principle of the residence is helpful to realize the neutral tax output of the tax. According to the principle of the residence, no matter which country a investor invests in, his investment income will generally be taxed on the effective rate of the country. In other words, whether he invests at the country or abroad, the tax burden is generally the same, which is exactly what the capital export neutrality requires. And if a foreign capital income tax rate is higher than the country's residence, as a result, the host country allows the foreign tax credit generally have limits the regulation. It can't be more than the foreign income tax according to the national tax rates to calculate the amount of tax. So when the investor focus on the investment in the countries to foreign investment tax burden, the tax capital output neutral cannot be fully realized. In this sense, of course, the investor will invest abroad only if the pre-tax return on the foreign investment are much higher than the home country. Since the principle of residence is conducive to the realization of the capital output neutrality, it also has a positive effect on the international effective allocation of investment. If the international community, in accordance with the principle of residence, harmonize the tax jurisdiction, at this time, each country's residence of the domestic or foreign investment income will be in according with the same effective tax burden of the taxes. Because in international capital market equilibrium condition, investors no longer from their country to get the same after-tax earning yield. So the investor at home and abroad can obtain the pre-tax rate of return on the cap investment must be the same. It shows that under the principle of the residence, the capital income tax of different countries doesn't cause the difference in marginal productivity of the capital from country to country. The capital tax will not interfere with the choice of the investment location between the countries.